Start with an opening statement from Coach.
Yeah, so I did a post-game interview on CBS, and I praised everybody, our teammates, our players, my staff. I forgot to praise God. He's the reason, and just want to make sure I said that publicly so everybody could hear it, because it matters, and it matters to me. That's March, man. That's March. It's what it looks like. That was a big-time college basketball game. You have to give Towson a ton of credit. They're number one in the country in offensive rebounding for a reason. And that's how Pat's teams play. They're just tough, nasty, physical, and we just knew it was going to be a bloodbath, and it always is, and it was. We think we have a tough, nasty program, too, that competes all the time. So you hate in a game like this that somebody's got to lose, because it was a big-time college basketball game. Our guys were unbelievably resilient. The air came out of the arena at the whatever it was, 4:09-minute mark, and we're down 7, and our guys battled. Right, they responded to a whole lot of adversity at that point when the chips were down. So proud of our guys, and we're excited to advance, and we're fortunate to advance.
Start with questions in the room, and start with questions for Rain. Andrew.
Rain, yesterday you only take 2 shots, score 4 points. Did you come out? Were you trying to be a little bit more aggressive today, or were just taking what the defense was giving you?
Not really. I think a part of it that I try and do now is just not force too much and force anything, and just trying to play the right way. And that's kind of how I go into every game. If my team needs me to score and shoot more, that's what I'm going to do. And if there's the scouts focusing on me and there's guys that are wide open and just playing well, leave it to them, and I'll be out there screening space and playing defense. So obviously I like to shoot the ball, and that's kind of what I do a lot. So it's obviously, but it's not something I want to try and force, and just want to let the game come to me.
To Scott.
Rain, it just seemed like with that 3-minute mark, somewhere around there, it was almost like, everyone in the arena thinks it's all going to them. Did you guys think it's getting away from us at all, or were you completely calm knowing that you had it in you guys in the last 3 minutes?
We were completely calm. I think we never panic. We don't budge. We knew there was 3 minutes left or whatever. That's a lot of time in basketball, and you can do a lot in that. So I think we just kept playing hard. We got stops on the other end, and just got some guys stepped up and make some big plays. So I think what we do great is we just don't panic. I think we're so locked in on just the next thing and not worrying about what's happening in 3 possessions time. We just worried about that one possession, get a stop, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Questions in the room for Rain, and back to John.
John Titel from Hoops HD. Rain, you've played in this tournament for 3 years. You've only lost once. What do you see as the biggest difference between the regular season versus the postseason?
It's just the competitiveness. I think that's what you see at times. Regular season, some teams can lay down after a run or something like that in regular season, and I think I'm telling the guys at halftime, it's like we have to take this game. It's like no team that's in the conference tournament is going to lay down if you make a run. That's kind of, I think the difference in the tournament games is just the competitiveness, physicality, and it's every game, no game's going to be easy. So we got to take it and make sure we win it. Don't leave it up to anything else.
Up top for Summer.
Thank you. Rain, you talked about just next guy up, just see who's going to show up. I thought Kobe Rogers had a great second half, right down to those clutch free throws. What did you like out of him? What was he saying out there?
Just his energy and effort on a daily basis is awesome. I think me and him have a great connection where if one of us kind of get in our own heads a little bit, we're on each other quickly of just saying just relax, have fun. And he was on himself at halftime, just he felt like he was forcing too much, and I'm just telling him just relax, it's just another game really, you've been playing this your whole life. And I think he gives us unbelievable energy and effort, especially on the defensive end, and we love him when he's aggressive offensively, so he's been great for us.
All right, thank you, Rain. We're gonna one more from Andrew. Okay, one more from Dan. Okay, you're both raising your hands. So
Rain will be handing out resumes back in the back. Pretty good.
Hey, Rain, so much of your game talked about on the offensive side of the ball. I think to a lot of us, the play of the game was defensively, the steal where you tipped it off his leg. How much pride do you take in yourself on that side of the floor?
Yeah, I definitely take it personal to a sense. I think coaches challenged me every day in practice to guard the ball and be an aggressive defender. So I kind of really took that and just kind of made an emphasis and take a look. It's just pride, really, and effort. And that's kind of what allows me to be in games towards the end, is just locking in on scout and personnel and kind of really focusing on the details and just have that effort and just back myself to make those plays.
All right, we're going to let Rain head out if he'd like to, and then we're going to go to questions for Coach Kelsey. We're going to start with Andrew and then go to Dan.
Pat, what did they do in the second half defensively? You guys had like only 3 threes, like 14, 15 minutes into the second half. Was it what they were doing? Were you guys just turning down the shots?
No, I mean, they're, I think, still the number 1 most efficient defensive team in our conference for a reason. They're long, they're athletic, they're well-schooled. They have a very good scheme defensively, and obviously, you know, their staff does a great job in preparation. And we've been shooting the blood out of the ball, and a big part of our game is the three-point shot. So obviously, everybody we play against, and especially in a desperation mode game tonight, we were going to get their best shot, and we did. So I don't think it was anything about, you know, our execution or anything like that. I think you have to credit Towson and their defense.
Up top to Dan.
Going off the second half, some of it might have been kind of getting him in foul trouble. What adjustments did y'all make on Thompson there in the second half?
Yeah. I mean, I thought early in the game he looked like Lou Alcindor, man. He was like just doing whatever the heck he wanted, and he was catching the ball wherever he wanted, and he was getting to his left shoulder, right hand, which is what he wants. So we weren't really executing scouting report. He's a big, strong, physical kid, and he really he fights for a spot in the post, and I thought we were letting him catch it too deep, you know. And you know, Tyler Hansborough was one of the great players in the history of North Carolina, and I used to coach at Wake Forest, and that was my scout, and I was just I couldn't believe how hard he played in the post defensively. You know, how he just beat guys to spots and he fronted, so we call it the Hansborough drill, right? And that's like a rodeo. It's 7 seconds in the post against Jermaine Ukegbu, who's one of our coaches, who's athletic, tough, and you can't let the guy catch it. Well, we weren't playing like Tyler Hansborough in the post. We were playing like Johnny Kelsey, you know. So we had a little aggressive counseling session in a huddle, and had another one at halftime. And I thought our guys just did a better job of defending him in the post and making his catches hard. But he's a good player.
What will you do
Not
to
that Johnny's not a good player, but he's 10. He's going to get so mad at me after this.
Pat, what will you do tonight? Like, what is any nuances from last year, the night before the game? Any little things that you do the night before? Will you stay around and watch Stony Brook Hofstra, or just let it go?
I don't. I never do. I'll watch, you know, the CBS Sports feed. I always leave the arena, go back with the guys. The assistants are here scouting the game, so I'll watch it kind of live. You know, because we played a later game tonight, we do nothing with the guys. The guys just go back, relax, get something to eat, hydrate, and get to bed. And then, you know, we'll get together with those guys in the morning. And the coaches, you know how it is. It's like exams back in college. It's all-nighters, but it's, gosh darn, like Matt lets me wear, you know, free Under Armour to work every day and tracksuits, and lets my son come in. So, you know, you guys got to work for a living. I get to go to the gym every day.
When they went up 7 there late in the game, C.J. Fulton hit that big 3. I guess just from your vantage point, how big of a shot was that for him to take?
You know, the 3 was huge, but you know it was, this is pardon my bad English, more huge was the pass he made on the middle ball screen, kind of a little play we called with the pick and roll with Rain, kind of what we call trading behind. He threw that sucker with his left hand. And, you know, they have a good scheme defensively with pick and rolls. They're really good. They're aggressive. They hedge. They trap. So there's hands and arms everywhere. And CJ kind of looked off the help and just threw like a, you know, had a little, you know, it wasn't a zip. He had to put a little bit of English on it to get it over the hands, and it landed right in Ante's hands. So, yes, the 3 was huge, but gosh darn, as a point guard, as a former point guard, I'm more impressed by the pass he made to Ante.
I believe you finished the game on a 13-1 run. Do you coach differently when you have to come back? And did it go about as according to plan as you could have dreamed?
We've pressed exactly 4 possessions the entire year, and most of them were against Towson just because they play a more deliberate style. So it's a little bit more than 4. So we just try to speed them up a little bit, and not speed them up, but just kind of like milk some clocks so we don't have to guard all their actions. Well, there was a big moment where we kind of jumped, and we never practice it because we don't press. I mean, we do some late game stuff and all that, where we jumped into it and got a deflection, got a steal, and Bryce made that layup, or might have missed it and somebody tipped it in. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, because we put thousands of hours into our preparation, our coaching, and we put 0 into our press, and it got us a big steal at a big moment.
Andrew, last one.
Pat, 3 for 3 for them, 3 games in 3 days. You guys, had that extra kind of bye, whatever you want to call it. How important was that you guys were maybe a little bit fresher than they were down the
You
stretch?
like to think it's an advantage. We were lucky enough and fortunate enough to win the league outright and get the #1 seed overall, so you just get some of those advantages, and it's better to have them than to not have them. But those kids played their hearts out, man. Like, gosh darn, 3 games, 3 days. You give them a lot of credit. That was a big-time college basketball game.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.